Hi everyone, me again. Let's continue the story. Carface was with Red in hell, and he did not like it because he was getting tormented by the demons in that place, and he still remembers the orphan girl named Anne Marie and her ability to talk to animals. So Carface decides to tell Red about Anne Marie's and make her bait to get Charlie to rescue her again like old times. But one problem, they do not know where she is now. So Red decided to let Carface return to Earth to find Anne Marie and kidnap her along with David as well. Carface knew Anne Marie was Charlie's weakness because Charlie always thought of Anne Marie as his own daughter, and kidnapping her will really get Charlie to give up his life for her again and risk everything for his family. So Carface was off to find Anne Marie and bring her to Red. Meanwhile, back at David's house, everyone was sleeping, even Charlie and Anne Marie, and Charlie woke up to check her forehead, and her fever has gone down, and she woke up. Morning, morning, Charlie, says Anne Marie. Morning, Squeaker, Charlie says. How are you feeling? Any better? Says Charlie. Yes, much better, says Anne Marie. But she was feeling a little sad from yesterday, and all of a sudden she had tears in her eyes pouring down from her cheek. And Charlie looked at her with a soft smile and says, What's wrong, Squeaker? Are you feeling okay? Anne Marie couldn't say anything but broke down once again and cried into Charlie's arms. And Charlie just wrapped his arms around her and rocked her back and forth to calm her down. Shh. It's okay, sweetheart. I'm here for you no matter what. I know it's hard right now, but we'll be getting through this, you'll see. Charlie brought his hands under her chin and lifted it up for eye contact and wiped away the tears from her beautiful face and kissed her on the forehead and said, Why don't we go downstairs to have breakfast with David and Sasha? How does that sound, sweetie?" And Emery agreed with the idea, so they both went downstairs to have breakfast with Sasha and David. Luckily, David's parents and sister are not home. His parents were at work and his little sister was at a friend's house having fun, so they all decided to hang out together as a family and have fun together. Sasha says good morning to Charlie and Anne-Marie, and they said good morning back. Charlie gave Sasha a kiss on the lips, and David helped Anne-Marie into her seat to make sure she's comfortable and at home. So David asked Anne-Marie what she likes for breakfast, and she says waffles, and David makes her some waffles with butter and syrup and serve it to her. After breakfast, everyone decides to go have some fun somewhere and show Anne-Marie around the town. They all wanted to make sure she had the most fun day of her life with them, the best day she ever had, and nothing can go wrong. After everyone was done eating breakfast, David cleaned up the dishes and washed them and put them away. And he went to Charlie and Sasha and says, "What should we do today, since David have no school today because it's the weekend and Emery is new in town?" So Charlie and Sasha decides why not show her around the town and spend time with her. "Show her a good time," says Sasha. "That's a good idea," says Charlie. "And I know the perfect place to go to," says Charlie. "Easy Street." And Sasha says, "That's a that's a bad idea. Remember what happened last time?" Then Charlie remembered what happened last time. It was in Canyon Total Disaster. David was doing his magic tricks to earn money, and things got bad after David showed a bowling ball to a baby and turned it into a dove, and the baby started crying, and David lost his balance and fall into the fountain, and it started to rain after that. And Charlie says, "This time it will be different." And David agreed. This time, no magic tricks or show, just a normal hangout as a family. "That sounds good to me," says Sasha. "And me too," says David. And I totally agreed as well, says Anne-Marie. So with that decided, they all headed to Kennedy Square, which is known as Easy Street. When they got there was music playing, and everybody was dancing and having fun, having a good time. So Charlie and Sasha, David and Anne-Marie decides to dance and have a good time. It was a wonderful time of their life until a slow song came on. Charlie danced with Sasha and winked at David, and David decided to ask Anne-Marie to dance with him. So he goes up to her and says, "May I have this dance?" David says shyly. "Yes, you may, kind sir," says Anne-Marie, curtsy. David holds Anne-Marie's hand and walk to the dance floor. David put one hand in Anne-Marie's hand and the other on her waist. And Anne-Marie put her hand in David's hand and the other on his shoulder, and they began to slow dance. Charlie and Sasha watched the two young kids slow dance. They were happy for them, and that's when Charlie had an idea, so he slow danced his way towards David and whispered something in his ear. "Hey, David," Charlie whispered. "Yeah, Charlie?" David whispered back. "Kiss her," says Charlie. "You mean on the cheek, right?" says David. "No, I mean on the lips," says Charlie. Then Sasha hit him on the head and says, "Charlie, what are you thinking? They're kids. Don't force them to kiss. Let that happen in time, because let them enjoy being kids and have a good time and not rush into a relationship." And Charlie knew Sasha was right. "You're right, Sasha. I am sorry. I should not do that." "Forget what I said, David." But David was blushing and his heart was pounding. After all the fun time they had out in the city, showing Emery a fun time around town. It was getting late, and they all decided to head back to David's house and have dinner. When they got home, little do they know David's family will find out eventually about Emery. And when they do, what would Charlie do? What he would not want to see Emery on the streets with nowhere to go. So what would they do? Then David said, I need to introduce Emery to my parents and tell them what happened. And Charlie says, but what if they will not allow her to stay with us? Then I'll run away again. I did it once, I can do it again. David, are you sure that's a good idea? I mean, running away from home, thinking a baby was going to take your place is one thing, but something like this is stupid, says Sasha. Maybe so, but I will not allow Emery to be out on the streets with nowhere to go, says David. And Charlie agreed with David's decision. Plus, he knew that David was falling in love with her as well. So they all agreed with the plan to have David tell his parents about Emery and what happened to her. And Emery agreed with this idea. When they got back to David's house, David's parents and little sister were home. So David tells Charlie and Sasha to wait upstairs into his room, and he asked Emery to come with him to meet his parents and sister. When David got inside, his parents greeted him and welcomed home. And they say, welcome home, they said. And Tom, David's dad, looked at Emery and says, who is this, David? Your girlfriend? With that, David blushed, and David's stepmom punched Tom in the shoulder. Tom, don't tease, torture the boy, okay, dear? Okay, dear, Tom says. So David decides introduce his family to Emery, and he told his family all what happened to her. When he was finished with his story, his parents says to David, why don't you take Emery upstairs to your room while your mom and I talk, says Tom. Agreed. So he picked up Emery, style and carry up the stairs to his room, and his parents knew that he was growing up so fast, and they hoped maybe one day him and Emery will get married someday. When they got back to his room, David put Emery down onto the floor, and Charlie says, "So, how did it go?" "I don't know, Charlie," says David. "All we have to do is wait to see what my parents' decision is for her." When his parents were done talking, they called David downstairs, and they say to him, "David, your little girlfriend can stay with us." "Really?" "Yes, on one condition. You go to school and keep up with your good grades and work very hard to pass school. And when you're a little older, you and Emery can get married one day." "Okay, but I would love to ask her out first on a date and be my girlfriend first, all of all, before I even think about that, if you guys don't mind. I do not want to rush it, of course, son. It's just you're growing up so fast and finding love and planning for the future. We just want you to know how proud we are of you. You're growing up into a fine young man. Thank you, Mom and Dad." With that, David headed up to his room to tell everybody the good news, and everybody was happy that David's parents are allowing Emery to stay with them forever. So with that, everybody went to bed. Charlie and Tasha sleep in their doggy bed, while David and Emery sleep on his bed together. And they all truly one big happy family all together. I hope you liked the story so far. Thank you.